All right, everybody, what I want to talk about today is a few things you can do to make your driving experience in a Tri Five Chevy a lot safer and really not have to do a whole lot or spend a lot of money, and that's what I'm going to talk about. One of the first things you want to do is you want to buy you some disc brake brackets, about $100, and you use 70 Monte Carlo calipers and rotors, and you can convert the front over to disc brakes without too much trouble. Another thing you want to do, even if you run white walls, I done lost the white walls on this one, I've only had the car a week, but you want to go with some radial tires. Coker makes a good reproduction radial tires if you're going to drive the car. If you're going to have a show car, you can kind of disregard what I'm telling you if you're never going to drive it on a public highway. These are just some of the things that I recommend. Next week the car will be getting disc brakes. I've already converted to an alternator. I've also lost the 2-barrel, went to a 4-barrel Edelbrock, and made sure your charging system's up to par. You also want to judge the condition of the wires. As you can see, these wires here is in real bad shape, so I'll be adding a new forward lamp harness to this car here shortly. And that also making sure your lights and all function as they should. Also, you want to add some modern headlights, Sylvania, so you have good night vision. And I do a lot of night driving, so night vision is important to me. This is a GM 1-wire, so your charging system's up to snuff. You want to add a Petronics unit in the ignition and have a good hot coil. A little more on the safety aspect, you want people to be able to see when you stop, so you want to add some LED lights. You can buy these LED lights here. They're I think I paid $69. That's the retail. I didn't give that far with my discount at the local Chevy place, but this that's kind of what you want to do. That way people can see you stop at night. See, also, so we talked about brakes, we talked about charging system, talked about radial tires. Oh, a big thing on a Tri Five Chevy is a front sway bar. Make sure you add you a front sway bar. How to keep the front end from leaning too bad. You can take curves at speeds you never thought was possible. Another thing, we want to go inside the car here, talk a little bit about safety here, and I'll be preaching to myself on this one, is seatbelts. Don't ever hurt to add seatbelts to these cars. My 57, I've never added seatbelts. My 59 does have lap belts. Now, one thing I want to mention, depending on your state, if you put seatbelts in a car, you then are required by law to wear them. If the car never had seatbelts, you're not required to install them or, of course, not wear them. So, just something to mind you. If you're someone that you just don't believe in wearing a seatbelt, that's totally okay. With me, I believe everybody should have their own choice when it comes to that. But me personally, I prefer to wear a seatbelt, although I have not installed in this car or my 57, and I've put 15,000 miles on the 57. Thankfully, I've not been involved in any wrecks, but I definitely would rather have a seatbelt on if I was involved in an accident. That's just a few things you can do to improve safety. Of course, you know, if you want to get real extravagant, putting the car on a more modern frame, you know, or doing away with the steering column and putting a modern collapsible steering column, of course, is some other, you know, some avenues you can take to improve the safety. But the way I look at it is, you know, you're not going to go out and have a wreck every day, but you want the car to be safe and things to avoid getting yourself or being able to avoid an accident. And one thing is proper brakes, good tires, radial tires, wheel choice, that type of thing is not really. Another big trend on these old cars is people want to slam them on the ground, and that's not really safe, especially if you're doing a lot of driving. There's a lot of high trucks and 18-wheelers and stuff, and if all it takes is one mistake, and it's going to take the roof off the car. So if you got air ride and you go to a show and you slam it down on the ground, that's cool, but to ride around that way, not cool and not safe at all. So anyway, that's just a few things I wanted to mention. If you're not going to go with disc brakes, a proper working drum brake system is good. one thing you need to do is have a dual master cylinder. That is a must. The other one known as the Widowmaker, and for very good reason. So you also want to make sure you can actually see out your windshield. Windshield wipers, not really a big deal. I don't really drive these cars a lot in the rain, but you want to put Rain X on all your windows. That way you can see properly. Even with windshield wipers, I recommend Rain X even for your daily drivers. Basically, another thing, you want to make sure your speedometer works, and also, more important than anything, make sure there's nothing wrong with the radio. And this radio is not working correctly, and that's very unsafe because it makes you go to make you go to sleep if you're bored in the car. So make sure you have your good sound system, radio, good speakers, and that'll be the next thing being added to this car to make it extra safe. So hope y'all liked a little bit of humor there, but no, in all seriousness, that's some of the things that I recommend you do to these cars, especially Tri Five Chevy. Just some easy improvements that can be done. Sway bars on the back look cool, they're nice, but they don't really add much. The sway bar on the back don't really offer much as far as handling. The sway bar on the front does. So I recommend sway bar on the front. That's just some of the things that that I do to my cars, and I recommend you do it too. So again, if you have an all-out show car and you got to have everything original, or it's an AACA, I understand. You're just going to haul it around a trailer, that's fine. But if you're going to actually drive the car in everyday traffic, these are some of the things you need to do. And some of these trends that people like to do is just not really practical, and just not really, don't really make a lot of sense to me. Again, air ride's cool. Get the car off the ground to drive it. It's cool looking, but it's not cool when you run up under a truck. So take your head and roof and everything else off. So just a few things I wanted to mention there, some food for thought. And this is the new addition to my little collection I got going on here. So this car can be found in the video, Drive a 56 Chevy, 225 miles home. Will it make it? And I urge you to go watch that video, and you can see some of the issues that I dealt with on the way home as why you need to do the upgrades that I'm telling you about. So with that being said, as always, thanks for watching. Like, share, comment. If you hadn't subscribed, please do so. I'm over 1,000 now, and we will see y'all next time.